Today I'm going to show you how to track student fitness data from year to year without purchasing expensive equipment. So what I have here is just a regular Google spreadsheet, and as I look across here, this is their 8th grade scores, 7th grade scores, and then 6th grade scores. Everything from my middle school years would show up on this spreadsheet. So the way we do that, first thing we're going to do is we're going to open a new spreadsheet in a new tab, and this would be our first year, our sample year. So we need to decide what fields we're going to use in our spreadsheet or in our database here. First thing you need to have is some kind of unique identifier for each student, something that no other student's going to have. So we're going to use student ID numbers. In my district, every student that comes into the district receives a student ID number. Second field, we're going to have name. Names are listed here, last name first, and then first name. Teacher, and what I would do when I create this spreadsheet is I would do the entire grade. So this is my 8th grade class. Let's say it's their graduation year is class of 2020. So I would have all those students in one sheet, and then you can always go back and sort by teacher and just pull your class up individually. The class ID, so here I have 8th grade A day, 8th grade B day. You could do red day, black day, however your school divides things up. Their current grade, their graduating year, parent emails, if you want to have reports sent home to parents. Let me just change this here. I put the wrong date in. And then their fitness assessments or fitness tests that you want to keep track of. I usually abbreviate these. It just makes it easier to keep control of the spreadsheet instead of having these big long file names. So this would be push-up fall 8th grade, push-up spring 8th grade, sit-ups fall 8th grade, sit-up spring 8th grade, mile runs, and then the sit and reach tests. So after the first year tracking all this data, we want to go and find a way to connect each year's data. And what we're going to use is we're going to use the student ID number. So we're going to create a second another column at the end of the first year's columns. And here I have 2012, 2013 records from the students. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here, and in P1 I'm going to click equals, and I'm going to go back to that last year's records, and I'm going to click on the first field here. And what it's telling me is it's going to copy into that block that's in sheet 2012-2013 in block A1, and I'm going to hit enter. So there's my student ID, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to autofill here straight across the page. And just like it did in the last sheet, it's going to have student ID, student name, class ID, grade, year. Now you don't have to copy these first few things in because it's pretty much going to be the same with the exception of grade and class ID. But I like to do it just to make sure I'm getting the same student across and there's no issues. So once we have that, we're going to type in a formula and tell Google that we want to look for the specific student ID number. So that formula is equals VLOOKUP. It's a vertical lookup that's going to go in our other sheets and look up the specified number we want to look up. So here we have VLOOKUP A2. So it's telling us that in this sheet it wants us to find the number that's in A2, which is Mike Smith's student ID number. And we want to look in sheet 2012-2013 in the range from A1 to M19. Let me show you how to do that real quick. So equals VLOOKUP. Okay, the search key is Mike Smith's number. comma, the range is going to be from the first student here. And notice our first student is not Mike Smith. Mike Smith is down here. And that's why we use this formula. And we're going to hit the shift button to highlight all the student information and go all the way across the page here to the last one. So it's telling us that we're copying information from 2012, 2013 tab and all the information from A3 to M7. So A3 all the way across to M7. And then you're going to hit. Alright, so we have M7, comma, and then we want to return the first item in that first column next to Mike Smith's 7th grade year. So we're going to type in 1, comma, parentheses, and it's going to show us what his student ID number was from 7th grade, which it should automatically be the same. We're going to click in this box here and we're going to highlight and Control C, and then we're going to just paste it in this box. The reason why we do that is because it's going to still keep the same A2, which we want. We still want to have the same student ID number here. And then what we want to do is we want to take it to column 2 to look up his name. And do the same thing in student ID, Control V, and we want column 3. And if I look back, we have student ID, student name, class ID. Here's that column 1, column 2, column 3. This would be column 4, column 5, column 6. So if I wanted to do push up fall 7, I'm looking at column 6 here. I would come back in, paste that in again, and hit column 6, and it'll give me his 7th grade push-up scores. Once I have going all the way across all his 7th grade scores, I can take and then I can autofill straight down. Okay, as you can see here, we have a little error coming across the board. What we need to do is we need to come back in here and we want to lock this number in, this A3 to M7 on sheet 2012, 2013. So we're going to hit F4 or sometimes function F4 on your computer, and it's going to give us dollar signs around those numbers. So those numbers are going to stay locked in no matter how we copy this function across. So again, click in here, function F4, and hit enter. This is probably easier to do as you're filling out that formula the first time, so you don't have to come back and do it again. Now after I've gone all the way across the row, I'm going to come back and highlight all that information I have from the 7th grade year, and I autofill, and it should fill in. And if we look across, we have Mike Smith, Joe Kim, John Mayer, Joe Smith, and their numbers, their push-up score straight across. And then here, this is that first spreadsheet I did, and that's all I did. I just went across, did all their 7th grade scores, and here's all their 6th grade scores. And then later on, you can always go back and create reports, which I can show you in another video. You can do functions, if statements, and come up if they did not take the test, if they're not in a healthy fitness zone, or if they're in a healthy fitness zone. And at the end of the year, you can run tests to see if they improved from fall to spring, or maybe they didn't improve fall to spring, or maybe they did. And you can go from there and run all sorts of reports. Things like using count if statements to see the total number of kids that were in a healthy fitness zone, the percentage of kids in a healthy fitness zone, or you can even run information to show how many students showed improvement, how many students showed, how many students were in a healthy fitness zone for all the tests. So, all right, a few more things I wanted to mention is when you're putting mile times in, you want to highlight that entire row, come up to format, number, and you want to use duration. Okay, and then it's going to give you, if you decide to average these out, find out what the class average was, that's going to give you the appropriate time. Some of these other functions are hours. This is going to come up with a date. So it's going to be, some of the numbers may be screwed a little bit if you don't do that. So you want to use duration. The other thing is, if you're going to use this information to create reports to send home, you want to come back in here and change this to format to plain text. This way, when it comes up on the sheet, it comes up as 9 minutes and 30 seconds. It doesn't come up as 9 a.m. with the AM and then the time and the date and all that other function attached to it. So if you're going to do reports, or you're going to use AutoCrat to kind of attach that stuff, you want to save it as, or you want to use it, format it as plain text. If not, if you're doing statistics stuff or analysis stuff, you want to use it as duration. So that's one comment I wanted to add in there at the end. The other thing is, one of the nice things is, if I use the spreadsheet from this year and I add a new student, let's say Ryan Howard's my new student, when I go back to plug this formula in for last year, it's going to say not applicable because he wasn't here last year and he wasn't here in 6th grade. At the same time, let's say last year I had Eric Roberts. His student ID number is 999. If Eric Roberts isn't here this year and his student ID is not listed on this paper, it will not pull up his information. So it'll be an up-to-date list of your students, and you can always come back in, add a new student, put their ID number in, and fill in their information for this year. So I hope that works for you guys. I hope I didn't confuse you too much. If you do have any questions, you can email me at coachlafrata@gmail.com. Lafrata is spelled L-A-F-R-A-T-T-A. Or you can catch me on Twitter at Coach42278. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.